Yeah. Come on, women. Build up the life. Let's see who's on the life. Build up the life, women. Build up the life. It's the last one we're going to do before we get to New York on Friday. Yeah? Let's come and punch some bags, right? Yes, what's in brother?
No.
True. Yeah.
You do?
That's true. All right, tonight we're going to talk about prevention of breast cancer, women. And the American Cancer Society did say that there is no way that women can prevent breast cancer. And that is true in a sense because there are different types of breast cancer, you know. So usually we have to look at the type of breast cancer that a woman is prone to have, and we can teach that woman how to prevent that cancer from developing. Yeah, and the media had a big argument with Dr. Bob Arnott, who wrote a book on breast cancer prevention. And the medical system and the media took him for a ride. But I'm going to show you tonight how you can prevent it. Different types of breast cancer. DCIS, we can talk about that. Hormonal breast cancer, which is ER, and Rebecca gene. So because there are different types of breast cancer, we're going to show you how you can prevent these different forms of it. All right? So we talked about what causes breast cancer, how you can damage the DNA. Free radical can damage the DNA. Certain foods can cause prolactin level to go high. Certain foods that a woman eats on a regular basis can cause her to be estrogen dominant. That can cause also breast cancer. And there is a cancer called DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ, which is coming from the milk duct in the breast. That also can be from DNA mutation. Yeah? So we're going to teach the woman how she can prevent her DNA from being damaged. You know, and what we call genetic mutation of the duct cells, or the breast cells. Because ductal carcinoma is much more easier to repair than invasive breast cancer. Alright? Because it is in the milk duct. And then we're going to teach the woman how to drop her prolactin levels with these herbs right here. We're going to go into detail and tell you what each herb do, and how you, the woman, can go on a program that we have called For Women Only to not only prevent breast cancer, but to also treat fibroids and PCOS, infertility, amenorrhea, menorrhagia, and dysmenorrhea, and even endometriosis, which is also a culprit of estrogen dominance. Yeah? So we're going to teach you about herbs. And a lot of them herbalists, so they don't teach you about these herbs, they go to depth, you know. Everybody sends it to click a link. And then a lot of people steal all these things that I have and go put them on their own post. And we're going to talk about DHEA and breast cancer. All right, so let's go first to the herbs that you women can use to help the pituitary and the hypothalamus gland. Yeah. To normalize your prolactin level, drop the estrogen level, and normalize both progesterone and estrogen, and helping the liver to remove the excessive amount of estrogen via breaking it down from estrone to estriol. We're going to teach you that now, so that you don't have to depend on the sick care building and the sick care man to take off your breasts and remove your ovaries and your cervix and your uterus. Yeah? All right, let's go. So first we're going to talk about this herb, chase tree. Yeah. And that herb is very significant for women. Yeah? Because that herb, called chase tree or Chinese angelica or vitex, when we have or we put a woman on a program in terms of normalizing her reproductive system, we go and mix this herb with different plants. It's according to what's happening to the woman's reproductive system. Yeah? If the woman have fibroids, we can use other herbs. If the woman have amenorrhea, dysmenorrhea or menorrhagia, we can use different herbs also. But this herb should be in the mix for a woman who is going through not only menopause, but have cancer and want to prevent breast cancer. And look at what this herb do, and the studies now. This herb called chaste tree, or Chinese angelica, or vitex, it normalizes the woman's reproductive system via the woman's pituitary gland. And the HPA, meaning that this is the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenals axis. Now, I want you women to listen very carefully now. When this herb normalizes your reproductive system via that pituitary gland and the HPA axis, which is the hypothalamus gland, the pituitary and the adrenal axis, chaste tree now reduces the prolactin levels of you, the woman, which influences your follicle stimulating hormone and also estrogen. Follow. So, this herb is so significant for women that it can prevent you, the woman, from getting breast cancer because it helps to normalize the prolactin and estrogen levels. So I want you to mark it down because sometimes Facebook remove my videos, okay? Or share the video. So the chaste tree normalizes the woman's reproductive system via the pituitary gland and the HPA axis. Chaste tree reduces prolactin levels, which can influence FSH and estrogen levels, and chaste tree bind the appetite receptors, helping the woman to combat anxiety, premenstrual syndrome, and it also helps to normalize the woman luteinizing hormone and FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, to normalize the woman's estrogen and her progesterone levels. So you, the woman, don't get endometriosis. You, the woman, don't get PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. You, the woman, don't have to suffer from infertility. You, the woman, don't have to get breast cancer long term. Because this herb normalizes or reduces your prolactin levels, which can influence your follicle stimulating hormone and your estrogen levels, that can cause you to get a pituitary tumor in your brain. So women should always have this herb in their house. Vitex, or Chinese angelica chaste tree. Yeah? Now, this HPA axis is what we call a hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis. And that is the endocrine and nervous system helping to do what? To balance a woman's hormone when she have a high stressful level. The HPA axis. Now, when a woman is very stressful, it can stimulate the pituitary gland. So when you become stressed, your cortisol level rises, and then your pituitary becomes stimulated. And what happens to you, the woman? Once your pituitary gland becomes stimulated, it releases hormones that cause the adrenal to release high cortisol levels. That's why we say the HPA axis. Yeah? So this herb normalizes the woman's reproductive system via the pituitary gland and the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenals. Because once you, the woman, become stressful, you can stimulate that pituitary gland. And when you stimulate your pituitary gland, it starts to release the hormones that cause your adrenal glands to release high cortisol level, which can put you at risk of getting breast cancer and raise your Th2 lymphocyte and cause a cytokine storm, what we call immune cytokine storm, and your cancer is going to spread into your breast. So this herb can prevent that. This herb also prevents PMS. It also normalizes your luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, and in turn it normalizes both your estrogen level and your progesterone level. So if you have a high prolactin level, make sure that you take lots of chaste tree or angelica to drop the prolactin levels with no drugs. You can write it. See there? Come on, let's look at the herb. See there? There we go. Chaste tree. That's the boss for the pituitary gland. In the anterior part of the gland. Not the middle part of the gland, but the anterior part of the gland. Called the pituitary gland. Let's look at the other herb. It's called white peony. White peony is a Chinese plant again. And what this herb does, this herb moves the blood. It enhances progesterone while reducing androgen, which is the man hormone, while balancing estrogen and prolactin levels. So you can never ever get cancer in the breast or in the ovaries. White peony, you mix them together. Yeah? So white peony action is, it vitalizes the blood, or it revitalizes the blood. In Chinese medicine, we call it revitalization. It increases the jing. It moves the blood. But while it's moving the blood, it is enhancing you, the woman, progesterone levels, which is your protector from estrogen, while it reduces the androgens, the men hormones, like testosterone, when you have PCOS, while balancing both your estrogen and your prolactin levels. So you become balanced. And once you become balanced, there's no what we call genetic mutation, because now there's no free radical damage in your DNA. Let's go to the next one over here. It's called Romania. I use this herb in my kidney and bladder cleanse. Why? When I'm rebuilding the kidney. Because lots of people who have kidney disease or kidney failure can use this herb, an herb called cordyceps, and let a seed to regenerate the kidney if it's not in a failing state. Romania action, it builds the blood. So if a woman is suffering from menorrhagia, and because the menorrhagia caused her, the woman, you the woman, to have low HBs, HGB they call it in the medical system, we use this herb to build the blood through the spleen, because the spleen makes the blood and the liver stores the blood. So this herb, it builds the blood, and it is a tonic to the woman's reproductive system while acting as a kidney builder. It's called Romania. Don't forget, not the dry Romania, but the processed or cooked Romania. There's two Romanias now. This one is cooked, and the other one is dry or uncooked. You're looking for the cooked one, not the uncooked one. The uncooked one is for the skin, when you have psoriasis and eczema. But the cooked Romania builds the blood through the spleen, and it is a tonic to you, the woman's reproductive system, while acting as a kidney builder and restorator with nettle seed, cordyceps, nettle leaf, hydrangea. It rebuilds the kidney. If the kidney is in stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and even stage 4, kidney disease. Let's go to the next one. It's called mother's wort. And remember we said there are plants that act as emmenagogues. Emmenagogue means that it makes things move. So, this herb called mother's wort is an emmenagogue. And once we use this plant in the mixture, it stops period pain, what they call dysmenorrhea in the medical system. It relieves anxiety and premenstrual syndrome. In clinical trials now, Mr. Doctor, clinical trials, this herb have sedative and heart activity, meaning that it is good for high blood pressure, and was used as a natural birth control by the Indian people. It's called mother's wort. Mother's wort. And don't forget I said it is what we call an emmenagogue. Emmenagogue means in herbal medicine, things flow. So if a woman is missing a period and she has what we call amenorrhea, we can mix this herb with some other plants to help to move the blood and make the period come when you have amenorrhea, no period at all. Yes? And we can give you some what we call progesterone cream. Yeah? And some vitamin E and the B complex and calcium and magnesium and flax oil, and the period comes in 3 months if you suffer from amenorrhea. That's how important herbal medicine is. Let's go to the next one. Ginger. I like to use ginger and cinnamon together because they both deal with circulation. But because cinnamon deals with more peripheral circulation, it is also good for diabetes. It also helps the beta cells, this herb right here. It also helps your beta cells to utilize your insulin properly so that your receptors can open the door so that insulin and sugar can get in. So the insulin goes as a key, open the door, and the sugar goes in, small amount of sugar with oxygen to help your cell with energy. This herb helps the beta cells to utilize your insulin properly. But I use it in a mixture for women because it moves the blood. And it's good for peripheral circulation. But ginger increases women's uterine circulation while reducing inflammation in the woman's reproductive system, while improving digestion, and it also helps with what we call blood sugar metabolism if mixed with this herb, Gymnea sylvestre, blueberry, and gentian, and another herb called agrimony. Yeah? Wonderful. So that's how ginger works in the woman's reproductive system. Let's go to the next one over there, boss over there, called danqui. Danqui. That's a Chinese herb. Chinese herb. Action. This herb is very significant for women. See it here? Danqui. Yeah? This herb moves the blood, and this herb is what we call angelica. We made a mistake over here. This one is called Vitex. So this is not Chinese angelica. This is Chinese angelica. So we made the mistake here. So danqui is Chinese angelica, not Vitex, not Chase Street. So danqui is Chinese angelica, and it moves the blood while shrinking fibroids and shrinking dermoid cysts or functional cysts on the ovaries. And if the woman have an enlarged ovary, we can use another herb called black haw, B-L-A-C-K-H-A-W, to reduce the size of the woman's ovaries while this herb is shrinking the fibroids and the ovarian cysts on the woman's ovaries. If the woman have a period and the period leaves after 3 to 4 days and she's suffering from endometrium hyperplasia, meaning that the endometrium become very thick and put you, the woman, at risk of getting uterine cancer, This herb will move the blood with another herb we mentioned in a little while, to show you how this herb can prevent you from getting endometrium hyperplasia that can lead to uterine cancer long term. So it moves the blood while shrinking fibroids. And this herb is good for premenstrual syndrome. You all women who have that, and you all get all moody. That's your liver too. When you have PMS, work on your liver as a woman. Once you work on your liver, your PMS is supposed to go away, because now you are removing excessive amount of estrogen by converting it into estriol via your liver, and your PMS goes away. But this herb called Donquai, it moves the blood while shrinking fibroids, ovarian cysts, if it's a dermoid cyst or a functional cyst. Two different cysts. One moves when you're ovulating, one don't go anywhere. Yeah? The dermoid stays, the functional moves after ovulation. This herb is good for PMS. Yeah. Amenorrhea, no period. Dysmenorrhea, period pain. Yeah? And vaginal dryness, especially when you are going through menopause and you're not producing lots of estrogen. This herb mixed with sea moss and black seed oil and flax oil will also, and even oatmeal water will help with the woman when she has vaginal dryness and she was scraping up the man's penis, can't get in. Use this herb, it helps with vaginal dryness and menopausal constipation. This herb is also good for angina. When you have pain in your chest because of blockage in your arteries and a failing heart. If you mix this herb with astragalus, another herb called danshen, and taichi ginseng, and if the heart is enlarged, you can put some turmeric in there. And if the heart is failing, you can use these herbs together. This herb with salvia root, astragalus, taichi ginseng, and turmeric, and you will fix your angina, because it helps to unblock the arteries with onions and garlics and other plants like horse chestnut and collinsonia. You see, from the herbal kingdom. But for a woman, it moves the blood. So it don't make you, the woman, become stagnated, or you have what we call blood stasis, where you're having period clots, when you're having a period. It moves the blood, so you don't get dysmenorrhea, period pain. Yeah? But it also got to shrink fibroids if you can mix these herbs with cypress root. Another herb called shepherd's purse to stop excessive bleeding. Another herb called red clover, podiaco, chaparral. They're all shrinking plants. If you mix them with this herb and mix chase tree, your fibroid will shrink if they're not more than 11 centimeters. Okay? Wonderful. Next one over here. Raspberry leaves. This herb is significant for women and men too. So a lot of the herbs that we talk about tonight is not only good for men, for women, it's good for men too. It's called red raspberry leaves. And this herb is part of the Lamacy family. Yeah? Lamacy family plants like lemon balm, spearmint, peppermint. Yeah? They're from the Lamacy family. And they do different things. So this herb is very significant because it acts as an astringent plant. And it is rich in minerals. Minerals, which alkalines the blood. So this herb called raspberry leaves is so rich in minerals and is an astringent plant, meaning that when the woman has troubles in the uterus or the ovaries or the cervix, it soothes the tissues. It heals the tissues of the woman's uterus and her ovaries and her cervix. That's what astringent plant does. The Muslim plants help to heal the tissues, while this one here soothes and heals it also. Yeah? So this herb called raspberry leaves is rich in minerals and is astringent. It's a tonic to the smooth muscles of the woman's uterus. Here again, it is a tonic to the smooth muscles of you, the woman's uterus, preventing miscarriages. Why, Patrick? Because it tonifies and strengthens the uterus. So you don't get a miscarriage. Yeah? And you can use this herb all during your pregnancy. Yeah? But it's astringent and a tonic to you, the woman's smooth muscles of the uterus by preventing what we call miscarriages and postpartum bleeding. And it also helps with uterine prolapse if you can mix it with a herb called pipwissa. So if you feel that your uterus is prolapsing, you get some raspberry leaves and mix this herb with a herb called pipwissa. Don't forget the herb pipwissa. And you're going to fix. How do what?
How do you prepare the herbs to eat them and drink from them?
Well, we're going to tell you how we're going to prepare them in a little while. Let me finish the let me finish the presentation, man. Oh God. Yeah. So this herb helps to prevent uterine prolapse if you can mix it with pipwissa, and it also helps you, the woman who have big fibroids, and the fibroids are leaning on the bladder. It stops frequent urination, but it is also good for men who have benign prostatic hyperplasia and enlarged prostate gland, mixed with saw palmetto, hydrangea, buchu leaves, pygeum bark, and nettle root and white sage. It shrinks a man's swollen prostate gland. You see? But this is very important for the woman's uterus. All right? So we're going to put them together and we're going to show you how to use them together. Remember we said before, watch me now, over here, watch me. Roots and barks. Watch me, say over here. Roots and barks float, sink, sorry. Roots and barks sink. Watch me now. Leaves and flowers, they float. Don't forget that now. I'm teaching you all herbal medicine. Roots and barks sink, and leaves and flowers float. Yeah, don't forget that. So usually you have to boil the roots. Yeah, all these are roots. You have to boil them for 20 minutes. So you can make the roots separate and boil them for 20 minutes. And when you boil them for 20 minutes under a very low fire, because they sink in the bottom of the pot, and after you boil them and you take the fire off, you're going to put these over here now. You're going to take these here, the leaves and the flowers, and throw them in the pot and cover the pot for another 5 minutes. This is what you call good herbal medicine. Not the man who makes it in the wrong way. You follow me? Yes, answer? Don't forget, roots and bark sink, and leaves and flowers float. So one work more on the top and one work more in the bottom. Yeah? That's why I'm teaching you about herbal medicine, you know? Yeah? So you can mix these herbs together and you can have them as a tea 3 times per day. And then you, the woman, have to make sure that you clean your liver and don't be constipated and stay from all the food that have xenohormones. Eh? And you don't destroy your DNA by free radical damage, and you will never get breast cancer, period, not even DCIS. And if you have the BRCA gene, by going on the woman's program, you can reverse the junk BRCA gene into a good gene, so you don't get triple negative breast cancer. Good that they call it. Let's go over here now. Come over here, son. Go over here. I want you to look now. Now we can save a lot of women's lives, you know, if you all can just follow instead of yamming every day. I don't clean your system out. Adrenal androgens deficiency. So let's look at the woman who's going through menopause and the woman who's premenopausal. DHEA. This guy right here called DHEA. Look him up. Yeah? See me? Right, now. The adrenals is on top of the kidney. You have a left adrenal, you have a right adrenal. One is the cortex, one is the medulla. One helps with potassium One also help with cortisol level, yeah, and corticosteroids. Now, adrenal androgens, men hormones that is, deficiency can increase the woman's risk of getting breast cancer. I'm going to say it one more time. Adrenal androgens deficiency can increase you, the woman's risk of getting breast cancer. But when you're on my program, you never become deficient because you have to exercise. Because exercising is significant to help your DHEA and also your cortisol level with vitamin C and vitamin E and B5 vitamin. Mark it down for me, woman. Exercise can help you, the woman, to prevent adrenal androgen deficiency. And if you are deficient, you can also bring it up by using vitamin C, vitamin E, and also B5 vitamin. Yeah? So adrenal androgens deficiency can increase you, the woman, risk of getting breast cancer. In clinical studies, I'm going to use the word clinical study because a lot of people want to hear clinical studies. Scientists, read the studies. Studies are there. We'll look it up from 2012. In clinical studies, women who are pre-menopausal and have breast cancer have a very low level of DHEA. And DHEA sulfate, but that DHEA can increase the woman who is going through menopause risk of getting breast cancer. Follow me, woman. The woman who is pre-menopausal and is deficient in DHEA is at more risk of getting breast cancer than the woman who is postmenopausal, because the woman who is postmenopausal, DHEA can put her at risk of getting breast cancer. So you have to know. So once you have HER breast cancer, usually you have what we call adrenal androgen deficiency, and that increases the risk because now it raises your cortisol level. Yeah? And this guy right here, he drops your cortisol and raises your Th1 lymphocyte if you are pre-menopausal and have breast cancer. But if you are post-menopausal, he can raise your risk of getting breast cancer long term. You follow my brothers and sisters? Follow me now. They don't teach you these things. Yeah? So, in clinical trials, women who are premenopausal and have breast cancer have a very low level of DHEA and DHEA sulfate, but it increases the risk of cancer in post-menopausal women. I want you to learn that from me now. Follow me. Yeah? DHEA action. Let's look at what DHEA does. DHEA helps the immune system. DHEA, no doctors could doubt that either. It is produced in the adrenals. DHEA helps the immune system of the woman and the man. But when your DHEA is low and high cortisol, when stress is present, so if you have a low DHEA and a high cortisol level, because you're stressed, you're all stressed up because we live in a stressful society now. That low DHEA can cause the immune system to become deactivated. Follow me, woman. It can cause your immune system to become deactivated. And when your immune system, which is your protector and your healer, become deactivated, it can cause your system to stimulate the process of cortisol that can cause breast cancer growth in breast cancer cells. Follow me. Do your oncologists teach you all these things? Do your doctors who are trained in the endocrine system teach you these things? Do your GP teach you these things? We had a friend, a girl coming here last week and said that her doctor did not even know there is a diet for women who have hyperactive thyroid gland. Craziness. He did not know that a woman who have a hyperthyroidism, he did not know that there was a diet for women like them. He didn't know that because he wasn't taught that in medical school. So when you have a hyperthyroid gland, you will know for a fact that you are producing too much thyroxine. So you have to use this herb called mother's wort right here because this herb acts as a thyroxine inhibitor. You have to use cauliflower. You have to use kale and Brussels sprouts and cabbages because they act as thyroxine inhibitors. You have to get the B complex and calcium for the parathyroid if you have hyperthyroidism. But he didn't know that the diet is so significant for a woman who's suffering from hyperthyroid. Yeah? So look at DHEA. Look at it again. It helps the immune system. But low DHEA and high cortisol when stress is present. So when you have stress and that is present, that same DHEA can cause the immune system to become deactivated, causing stimulation that can cause breast cancer growth of breast cancer cells. And that's why I said to women that once you have breast cancer and you have a high cortisol level, it will drop this here, drop the DHEA, and when it drop the DHEA, it also will raise your Th2 lymphocyte and make your cancer start spreading because the Th2 lymphocyte will cause a immune cytokine storm, and then the cancer cell will fool your macrophages, and the macrophages will start to have a manufacturing plant to make more of your estrogen levels. See? But they don't teach you these things. Now, let's look at DCIS. Ductal carcinoma in situ. In situ means what? It's still in the nipple. It don't move. It's not invasive. So why they give you chemotherapy? For this cancer. This cancer affects the milk ducts cells of the woman's breast. Different to ER, different to HER, different to BRCA gene. Yeah? This is what we call genetic mutation of the duct cells in your breast. So you, the woman, don't need no chemotherapy for this cancer because it's not invasive. It don't leave the nipple and go into the lobule of the breast. I'm going to teach you all now. So you can go and prevent the mutation of the cells in your duct of the breast, the male duct they call it. And you can prevent DCIS. Or you can bring it back to normal by using these plants and going on a good diet. So DCIS affect the male duct cells of the breast. The cells in the male ducts become cancerous but stays in place in situ in your nipple and don't move because it is not invasive. I said, see my calabash in my light, see? Calabash, you all, you go on time, right?
Yeah.
You see? So, all these herbs are good. Yeah, they are good. But if you, the woman, don't have a good diet, these herbs can't work. You can use them all together. But if you're eating still chicken, and eating cheese that have the hormones, eating eggs that have the hormones, bathing in chlorinated water, you shower full of chlorine in the water. The chlorine goes into your pores, especially when the water is hot. And chlorine causes bladder cancer too. And the chlorine gets into your pores, and it causes growths in your uterus. You see? So invest your money in a shower filter. Yeah? So when you're the woman, it's in the shower, and you turn on the hot water, and it gets inside your pores, there's no chlorine to affect your reproductive system. So all these herbs are good. But hear this now. Every 6 months to 3 months, all women between the ages of 19 and 50, don't forget the age, between the age of 19 and 50, every 6 weeks to 3 months, all women should go on a yeast and parasite cleanse. Yeah? To remove excessive amount of yeast from the intestines and from the mucous membranes. And in the process, all women between the age of 19 and 50 or even up should also help the liver, because the liver have over 500 functions. And if your liver is not removing or breaking down or manufacturing and breaking down and excreting hormones, you get what? Big bam bam, nice hips. That's hormones, cells, estrogen. And you think you're healthy. Yeah? If the liver is not breaking down or excreting estrone into estriol, and you have recycling estrogen coming back into your portal vessel, because you, the woman, is not going to the bathroom on a regular basis, you're constipated, you will get breast cancer long term. You will get it. Because all the waste matter will come back with estrogen, back into your liver, back into the portal vessel. And then your synthetic estrogen, that the same man who make your foods and put all these hormones in your foods, in your cheese, in your eggs, in your milk, in everything that you eat on a regular basis, his estrogen, synthetic, will go in and come back into your portal vessel. And he will steal your combination lock to your receptor. And then you, the woman, if you are prone to getting breast cancer, that's what you're going to get. Because now your prolactin level and your estrogen level is not in balance. Yeah? And then you don't have no progesterone, because you're not using the progesterone cream to rub on your breasts, around your navel, in your thigh, to balance them back, plus your pituitary gland, and your hypothalamus gland, and your adrenal glands, and the thyroid gland is all in balance. You have to have them in balance. And number 2, you must keep the digestive system healthy. Must. The digestive system. Him, the earth system. You must keep him healthy. You must keep him digesting, absorbing, and removing excessive amount of estrogen and waste material, so you don't damage your DNA long term in your cells, and in no way you can get breast cancer. Period. 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 Women, love my sisters. I love my African princesses. In no way you all going to get breast cancer. Every 3 months, you take 7 days to 10 days, and you clean your digestive system out, and clean your liver, detoxify your organs, keep the blood purified, filter the blood, work on all the organs that filters your blood, and don't eat anything that will damage your DNA to cause your cells to mutate and cause you to get breast cancer long term. And if you only follow that principle every 3 months, using these herbs right here, in no way you won't get breast cancer. I call it prevention of breast cancer. You can't prevent it. And if you have the BRCA gene, that is the junk gene. Yeah? You can go in and every so often you detoxify the organs of elimination. You go to the uterus and you clean it up. You do yoni steaming. You use your probiotics. Yeah? And you do all the things that a woman's supposed to do to prevent the man in the white coat from taking out your uterus, your cervix, your ovaries, and taking off them breasts that we like to suck. Look at the business, man. Give thanks and praises. See you all in New York on Friday. God give us health and strength. And we're going to have a big seminar. We're going to have a big presentation in New York, in Brooklyn, in Ambrosia, on bowel disorders. And then we go straight to Jersey for a big seminar. And then we are in Atlanta on the 27th of April for a big seminar there. So we're going to give you some update. Best of love. Give thanks and praise to the Most High. Yes, sir.